How do you do? Have you ever looked around at your life and wondered, how did I even get here? Have you ever felt trapped in a story that you did not want to be in? A story you felt was being written by other people? Today we'll meet a woman who desperately wanted to find herself in any other story besides the one she was thrown into as a child. A woman whose early experiences left her feeling unlovable and unsure of her purpose. It wasn't until she heard of another story, a better story, that was available to her at any moment, when her heart and mind and life were unshackled.
We missed the bus.
Oh, man.
Come on, Laura, let's go ask Mom to drive us.
Okay. Oh, I left my backpack at the stop.
Mom! We need you to drive us to school.
What is it? Why aren't you on the bus?
Oh, no! She got hit! Oh, no! Bob!
I'm coming. What is it? Is that? No.
Laura?
I was born in Texas and grew up attending a mainstream church, though no one in my family had any idea what God expected of them. My father was an alcoholic, and we often suffered verbal and physical abuse at home. School wasn't much of a refuge as I struggled to fit in on account of my mixed race. With an Irish dad and a Mexican mom, I was too white to hang out with the Hispanic kids and too Latin for the white kids. I grew up alone, and I grew up quickly.
Oh my, that's quite a big word for a little girl.
While other girls drew pretty pictures with chalk, I wrote out the 4-letter words I'd so often heard my dad use.
Do you know what that means?
Sure I do. Excuse me, you're standing where I need to write my next word.
Oh, I can teach you more words.
Really?
Yes. Why don't you come over to my house? We'll play a fun game.
Okay, I'm good at games.
The woman in our story endured great trauma and abuse as a child. This is the story of her road to restoration. Part 1 of the true story of Barbara Cueto, right now on Unshackled.
It wasn't a game that my neighbor had in mind. That man sexually assaulted me. Before I could even ride a bike. Before I could write an essay or do long division, all before the age of 7. And I had no place for my anger or shame. It wouldn't be until 2 years later that a very different incident made God real to me. My sister Laura was hit by a car one morning. While my parents and a crowd gathered around her, I ran to my room and prayed.
God, please don't let my sister die. Our Father who art in heaven, please take care of Laura. Please, Father in heaven, I'll do anything. I'll give you my lunch money. 50 cents for my sister's life. Please, Father.
I'm not positive how much my prayer had to do with it, but Laura survived. She ended up with many broken bones, but she survived. For the first time then, I believed that God was real and was listening to me. Still, as I grew older, we grew more separated from the world of the church, despite the fact that our house was right next door to one. Our yard was always full of Dad's friends, cussing and drinking.
I'll bet you 200. I'll bet you 300. You ain't good for it. Barb, you know your daddy's a scoundrel. Hey, be a good girl and go get me another beer, will ya?
Dad, Mom will ask how many you've had already.
Do what you're told, now.
I remember wishing that church members would stop walking by and invite us to join them someday. Then, finally, on a hot summer week, some visitors came to town.
What you guys doing?
Barb's trying to draw a tree out of chalk.
Who are you?
Where'd you get your popsicle?
Bobby. Church. That doesn't look like a tree.
I'm not finished yet.
Oh.
You got your popsicle at church?
Yeah. I'm going to vacation Bible school for a week. It's more vacation than school.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
They have popsicles there?
Yeah. It's at the place right on the other side of the fence. You guys want to come?
Would we be invited?
Why not?
That kid and his friends changed my life that summer. While they were here, I accepted Jesus into my heart and was baptized at the church next door. I realized that God really did care about my family, messed up as we were. And a few years later, my family received what we interpreted as a messenger from God. He was a man on television who shared his story of addiction. My mom found my dad in the living room.
Bob, why are you crying?
This man, on TV, he has the same thing I have, and I know he was talking right to me, Carmen. He told me I have to stop drinking, and I do, and I will. I promise you.
My dad kept his word. He became sober, and over the years, he turned into the dad I needed him to be. But so much damage had already been done. I was made fun of mercilessly at school, and between that and the shame I felt around my family, I developed some bad habits that kept me from forming authentic friendships.
I did not do good on that math quiz.
Me either.
Are you going to study tonight?
I don't know. I might ride my horses.
You have horses?
Yeah. That's my house. Up there, actually.
I didn't know you lived here.
Yeah. That's why I said we could walk home together, because I'm, same direction as you.
Wow. Do you ride all up and down those fields?
Yeah. I have all these secret spots. And that's our porch swing. And that's where my mom sticks her head out and says, "Girls, dinner." And that's my big bedroom way up top. See that window?
Yeah. Wow. Can I come in?
Not today. Gotta study math.
Oh, same.
I lied all the time about where we lived and what my family was like. It seemed that everyone in my family had secrets. When I was a teenager, my brother, Wayne, was molested by a cleric. This affected my entire family for years to come. Through profound providence, Wayne still came to know Jesus when he was older. But that trauma planted a fundamental insecurity in my brother, and he became homeless and addicted to drugs that eventually took his life. Like my brother, I too was mistreated by an older man during my teenage years. But the situation was even closer to home. At 14, I started spending time with my dad's friend, Sonny. Hello?
Well, hello there, good looking.
Hi, Sonny. I'll get my dad.
I was actually hoping to catch you.
Oh, well, all right.
Your dad's hair isn't nearly as pretty.
My dad doesn't have much hair.
He sure doesn't. Hey, what do you say we meet out in the desert? You can hop on your horse and meet me out by the patch. You know that spot?
I do.
I got something special for you.
All right, I'll be there in an hour. That day, Sonny introduced me to marijuana. And in the weeks to come, he would pick me up from school and introduce me to alcohol, tobacco, and speed as well. Once he got me addicted, he kept me supplied, and in return, I gave him all of myself. My parents found out the summer of my sophomore year.
Your father and I have been discussing what is to be done about this.
It's over, I told you.
I won't rest while you two are in the same town.
What are you going to do, ride Sonny right out of El Paso?
Mr. Detman.
Whatever.
Do not whatever your mother.
Drink your milk, Barb.
I don't want my milk. I'm not 5.
Yeah, you made that very clear.
What are you going to do?
You're going to live with Aunt Pam and Uncle Bill.
What? They're hundreds of miles away from here.
That's right.
You can't be serious. Seriously?
This is the only way to keep you safe.
But it wasn't. Why was I banished from my house and not Sonny? I felt so rejected. My aunt and uncle's house ended up being the absolute worst place for me to be. It wasn't long before my aunt and uncle divorced, and I stayed with my uncle, who began to sexually abuse me himself. This led to us going out to clubs together and him using me to make money. After a miserable year, I wound up back at home with my parents for my senior year of high school.
All right, that's all for today. Please read pages 55 through 71 for tomorrow and read them closely in case there's a quiz tomorrow or anything.
Oh, man.
Barb, can I see you for a moment?
Sure.
I'm so happy that you're back at our school.
Yeah.
I still remember that essay you wrote for me freshman year. The one about the power of movies.
Cool.
You changed while you were gone, didn't you? You were a girl when I knew you last. And now you're this glamorous woman.
Sure.
I know that transitioning back after being away can be tough, especially when you come back for your senior year. Would it help for you to talk to someone? Maybe our school counselor. I think it'd be nice for you to have someone to walk through this with. What do you think?
Yeah, whatever. I did meet with the counselor, but I didn't trust her. I didn't trust any adults anymore. They all wanted something from me. And it didn't stop there. I hadn't been back long before I got involved with another friend of my father's, Philip. He was a drummer, and I was still enamored with the arts, like my teacher remembered me being as a freshman. Our time together was empty and transactional. But after we ended things, I found out I was still carrying a piece of him. I found out I was pregnant. There was no way I could tell this news to my parents. Philip said he knew what needed to be done, and he said he would pay for the abortion. He drove me to the clinic.
Idiots. Don't let those people bother you.
What are they doing? Oh no, look at those pictures.
They're protesting. They can't mind their own business.
Did you see that picture in the front? Is that what's inside me?
Barb, don't worry about them.
I don't think I can do this.
Just go inside. This is nothing, and it'll be over before you know it. Call me when you're done, and I'll come pick you up. And then everything will just go back to normal.
Okay. It wasn't until years later that I fully processed what happened that day. The sin I committed. I later grieved the child I would never meet. But that year I continued in a spiral of unhealthy decisions culminating in an overdose on my 18th birthday. I wound up in a psych ward, and when I was released, I was assigned a therapist. Even that man took advantage of me and tried to convince me to meet him at a motel. I now knew without a shadow of a doubt, no one is safe. No one can be trusted. I believed that all men were vultures. My mom was a bright light during this time. She had started a relationship with Jesus, a far different relationship than the one she'd had to the church growing up. Her Jesus was personal. She knew I needed him too.
Sweetheart,
Yeah?
how's your homework coming?
Fine.
Hey, I wanted to see if you'd like to go on a little adventure with me.
Where?
I'm going on a retreat. A religious retreat.
I don't know what that means.
It's in New Mexico, in the mountains.
Okay, I'm in. When I first met the lay people who lived at the retreat residences, I was struck by the peace they possessed. It was unlike anything or any drug I'd ever taken. I encountered God in that beautiful place. For the first time, I felt Him speak to me. It was the safest and most joyful place I had ever been, and I never wanted to leave. After a few days, I ran to find the head of the place. David!
Yes. Oh, hello, Barbara. How's your week been?
Oh, it's been the absolute most wonderful experience of my life, and I wanted to tell you that I've decided to stay. I know that God wants me here, and I think I'd really like to live here forever.
Well, I am delighted that it has been such a meaningful experience for you. I mean, that is indeed what we hope for. But, Barbara, it's a very big decision to enter into this kind of life. It's a life of humility and service. A life born of a very serious calling and not a brief encounter with God.
But I know this is what I want. I've never felt so happy in my life. Please don't make me leave.
Barbara, I'm sure that what you say is true, but I don't believe this is your vocation. I'm so sorry.
I was devastated. I felt rejected not just by David, but by God himself, like he was too holy for me. How could I have ever thought otherwise? But God did not forget about me. The next year, I found myself literally lost in the woods. A perfect picture of how I felt on the inside, too. And God really dealt with me in that wilderness. It was clear he wanted a relationship. Eventually, I was found by a rescue team. He wasn't done with me.
Thank you for tuning in to 96.4 KFM. It's your host, Isaac, here, and today we are talking about summer. Summer is upon us in El Paso, and we want to hear from you. What are your tricks for beating the heat? Call in and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
I spent lots of time sitting in my room listening to the radio, and it felt like a dream come true when I fell into a whirlwind romance with Isaac, a local radio celebrity. We were married just after my 20th birthday, but I soon discovered Isaac had a short fuse, and when he burned bridges with connections in El Paso, we left so he could look for work in Houston. Hi, love. How was your day?
Not good. It was not good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me get you a drink.
They let me go.
What?
I know.
You just started there.
I know.
Did they give you a reason?
Oh, this and that, but nothing that really made it... They're nothing but a bunch of idiots over there. Don't know talent when they see it.
Uh-huh.
So, you're going to need to start helping out. I know you don't have a degree or much experience or nothing, but I know a place where you can get work quick no matter who you are.
What's that?
It's called New York, New York.
So we drove over there to scope it out. New York turned out to be a shabby nightclub on the side of the highway. When we walked inside, I couldn't believe what he was asking me to do. Isaac, those dancers are topless.
I know. It'll just be for a little while until we get on our feet again.
No way!
We can make a lot of money. And it's illegal for anyone to touch you, so you don't got to worry about that. Come on. Honey, please do this for me. What else will we do? We'll lose everything.
By everything, I suppose he meant our 2 old Pinto station wagons and some secondhand furniture. But apparently these were worth more than me.
What do you say, Barb?
I really can't see myself doing this.
Well, you're going to, all right? That's what we're doing. You don't have a choice.
Eventually, I acquiesced. And every time I got on stage, I grew to hate Isaac more. He had turned me into someone I despised. He was right about the money, though. The place was filled with men, and they threw money at us night after night.
Hey, you new?
Yeah?
What's your name?
Barb.
Barb.
Do you come here often?
I own the place.
Oh, I suppose I should have known that.
Yeah, they call me Papa.
Well, all right then. Thanks for the gig.
You a performer?
I used to be. Interested in acting, movies, all that.
Right. What kind of movies you like?
Any. Romances, comedies, westerns.
Westerns.
Yes. I like westerns. I even had a stage name once. BJ Watkins.
BJ, I like that.
Thanks.
You like it here at the club, BJ?
It's getting easier.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I liked talking to Tony. He was a big, Italian, charismatic man, and most importantly, he was interesting, unlike most of the other men who I met there. Isaac drifted out of the picture as I was gone every night, and he became involved with other women. Our divorce barely affected me. When I moved to work at another club in search of even higher pay, Tony followed me there.
Whiskey sour, that's your drink, right?
It is. What are you doing here?
So, This is where you work now.
Yeah, it's no offense, but it's nicer.
But it's still not where you belong. We gotta get you out of here, huh?
Well, yeah, I would love to leave. I just don't know.
Move in with me.
What?
Come live with me. I'll take care of you.
Tony,
I'll never let anyone hurt you.
We were married near his condo, and the wedding was catered by the only Italian restaurant Tony would eat at because it was owned by Italian immigrants. Even then, I noticed how everyone was eager to serve Tony and me because I was with him. He had this status that we carried with us wherever we went. My parents were glad to see me get rid of Isaac, and they admired Tony's strength.
Another glass, let's finish it off.
To our marriage, 1 week in.
To us, and to one beautiful week of marriage. Now tell me the truth, BJ. Are you FBI?
What? Of course not, Tony. Why do you keep asking me that?
You know it's against the law not to tell me if you are when I ask you that.
How could I not know, Tony? You've told me 1,000,000 times.
Just making sure.
I love you.
I love you too, BJ. You have everything you need?
Yes.
You need anything, you just tell me. Clothes, jewelry, anything, okay?
Okay, Tony. Thank you. From early on, we developed this silent understanding. I would keep far enough away from him so that he never felt threatened. I wouldn't get the combination to the safe, ask for my own banking account, or ask too many questions as to the nature of the secrets he and his friends were always quietly discussing. And in turn, I would have everything I ever needed, besides the only thing I really wanted, which was genuine love. It wasn't until later that I would discover who he really was and who I was becoming. A Mafia princess.
We'll continue with the second part of Barb's story next time. We believe that God is pursuing your heart the same way he chased after Barbara. Won't you consider letting him catch you? Are you tired of running? Are you tired of searching? The Bible says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light."